What's worse than a woman who leaves you? A woman who stays, but secretly hates you. You'll feel it in the way she talks to you, laughs at you, or simply looks past you like you don't exist. She'll still sleep beside you, still say, love you, still play the part. But behind that calm face is quiet contempt. This isn't love dying. It's disrespect blooming. And if you don't see it early, she'll turn you into a version of yourself that you won't even recognize. This isn't paranoia. It's psychology. Because when respect dies, love is already gone. Stay here. I'll show you the 8 subtle signs that prove when her affection has turned into disgust, and how to recognize it before it destroys you. Every man thinks he'll notice when she starts to hate him. But women don't show hate directly. They code it. It's in the tone, the body language, the delayed responses, the "I forgot." It's subtle because it's designed to confuse you, to make you second-guess your instincts. That's the genius of covert disrespect. It makes you the unreliable narrator of your own story, but not after today. If you're ready to decode what she really means when she says, "Relax, I was just joking," hit subscribe. Then comment, "Decoded," because you're about to see how contempt hides behind laughter, and how one harmless moment can redefine the power dynamic forever. Number 1. The public joke that cuts deep. It starts in the smallest moments. A dinner with friends, a story you tell with genuine warmth. You're halfway through your sentence when she interrupts with a laugh that doesn't include you. Her eyes flick toward the table, her tone playful on the surface but poisoned underneath. "Oh, he always does that," she says, smiling. It's almost cute how bad he is with details. The people around you laugh, but it's not a real laugh. It's the kind that trembles, the laugh people use when something uncomfortable just happened. You sit there, feeling that familiar heat rise in your chest. You try to smile, maybe even make a small joke to brush it off. But inside, something sharp twists. This isn't humor, it's hierarchy. A real joke brings people closer. It's shared, mutual, alive. But when you become the punchline, what's happening isn't bonding, it's positioning. She's showing everyone at that table, including you, where you stand. Beneath her. Psychologically, this is called public framing, the act of lowering someone's status in a social setting to reclaim control. It's not accidental, it's a subtle form of power assertion. By laughing at you, she redefines you. By defending herself with, "I'm just teasing," she gaslights you into silence. You start doubting your reaction, telling yourself maybe you're too sensitive. That's exactly the trap. Because she knows what she's doing. She knows that in the male mind, the word sensitive is poison. She uses it like a leash, pulling you back every time you try to call it out. Here's the truth she won't say out loud. A woman who loves you protects your image in public. A woman who secretly despises you exposes it for sport. When her laughter feels like a blade, understand, she's not being funny. She's declaring dominance. If she laughs at your expense, it's not a joke. It's a message. Number 2, the forgetfulness that isn't forgetful. She says she forgot. The dry cleaning you needed for your presentation, the dinner plans you made weeks ago, the simple request you mentioned yesterday. She forgets your needs, but somehow remembers her own perfectly. The brunch with her friends, the skincare order, the call she promised to return. You start to notice the pattern. Her memory isn't fragile. It's selective. And the things she forgets always have one thing in common. You. This isn't absent-mindedness. It's a quiet rebellion. A strategy so subtle you can't even call it out without sounding petty. Because when you do, she smiles, shrugs, and says, "Relax, I just forgot." No, she didn't. She just didn't care enough to remember. Psychologically, this is called passive control, a form of manipulation where incompetence is used as a weapon. By forgetting, she forces you to take responsibility for both of you. You pick up the slack. You double-check everything. You become the parent in your own relationship. And that's exactly how she wants it. Because when you're managing her, you're no longer standing as her equal. You're performing service. You stop expecting partnership and start accepting excuses. The damage is slow, almost invisible. Each "I forgot" chips away at your trust until the dynamic shifts completely. You stop asking her for help. You start doing everything yourself. And when you finally confront her, she accuses you of being controlling. It's the perfect trap. She forgets, you fix. She fails, you apologize. You carry the weight, and she gets to feel free. Here's the brutal truth. Forgetfulness is never random. It's a mirror of respect. And if she never forgets what benefits her, but always forgets what matters to you, it's not her memory that's failing. It's her regard for you that's gone missing. Number 3. The eye roll that says everything. It's the smallest gesture, so quick you almost miss it. You're talking about a new idea, something that excites you. You're sharing a plan, a dream, a little victory. And she sighs, looks away, rolls her eyes. No words, no fight, just that micro-expression that speaks louder than 1,000 insults. In that second, something inside you stirs, confusion, hurt, maybe even shame. You weren't looking for validation. You were looking for connection. But what you got was contempt. Here's what most men don't realize. Contempt isn't anger. It's disgust. Anger still cares. Anger means you matter enough to argue with. Contempt means she's already decided you're beneath her. Psychologist John Gottman, the man who studied thousands of marriages, called contempt the single strongest predictor of divorce. Why? Because it erases equality. When contempt enters the room, respect quietly leaves. An eye roll isn't just an eye roll. It's her subconscious telling you you're not worth engaging with. It's the body rejecting your words like a bad taste. You might think it's nothing. You might tell yourself she's just tired, but the body never lies. Even when her mouth says "I'm fine," her expression betrays the truth. She's no longer emotionally invested. The tragedy is, this moment doesn't happen once. It repeats over dinners, conversations, arguments, until one day you stop talking. You stop sharing your thoughts, your wins, your curiosity. Because you already know how she'll react. And that's how contempt kills intimacy. Not with shouting, but with silence. Here's the hidden truth. A woman can fake affection. She can fake laughter. She can fake pleasure. But her body will always reveal contempt. When her eyes roll, her love is gone. All that's left is tolerance. And tolerance is the slowest form of rejection. Number 4. The celebration she can't share. You walk through the door, heart still racing from good news, maybe a promotion, a breakthrough, a small victory that finally makes you feel seen. You expect warmth, a spark of pride, maybe just a simple, "I'm proud of you." But she barely looks up. "Oh, that's nice," she says, her tone flat. Then, without missing a beat, she changes the subject. At first, you tell yourself she's distracted, that she's tired, that she didn't mean it that way. But deep down, you feel the shift. The joy inside you fades before it even has a chance to breathe. You see, indifference is not neutral. It's contempt, disguised as calm. Psychologically, this is called emotional withdrawal, when a partner detaches from your success because your growth threatens their position. A healthy woman feels pride when her man rises. She feels stronger because his strength adds to hers. But a resentful one feels diminished. Your win reminds her of what she's not achieving. So instead of celebrating, she minimizes. "Well, it's about time," she might say. Or worse, she redirects. That's great. Anyway, did you take out the trash? That moment isn't random. It's symbolic. It's her quietly pulling away from the partnership, turning we into me. Because the truth is, people celebrate what they value. And when she can't celebrate you, she no longer values you. The danger here isn't her silence, it's how it reshapes you. You stop sharing good news. You learn to shrink your joy. You condition yourself to downplay everything you're proud of, until you forget what pride even feels like. But listen closely. Love doesn't envy. Respect doesn't compete. If she can't be happy for you, she's already emotionally gone. Here's the hidden truth. When a woman can't celebrate you, she no longer sees you as part of her story. And a woman who can't stand your light will eventually try to dim it. Number 5, the silence that punishes. It doesn't start with shouting, it starts with silence. One night, after an argument that wasn't even serious, she shuts down completely. No eye contact, no response. Just air thick with distance. You try to talk, nothing. You apologize, nothing. You walk through your own home like an unwelcome guest. This is not peace. This is punishment. Psychologically, it's called stonewalling, but in reality, it's a form of control. Because silence is not the absence of communication, it's a weaponized version of it. When someone who knows you intimately decides to withhold their voice, they're not creating space, they're creating power. You start to feel small. You replay every word, wondering what you did wrong. You apologize for things you didn't do, just to break the silence. But every time you give in, the dynamic shifts further. She learns that silence makes you bend. What's happening in your brain during these moments isn't weakness. Neuroscience shows that prolonged emotional isolation triggers the same neural pain centers as physical injury. That's why this silence hurts, because your body literally interprets it as rejection. She knows this instinctively. She knows you'll chase her. And that's why she uses silence, not as retreat, but as domination. Understand this. When love turns into control, every word withheld becomes a leash around your emotions. A woman who respects you will argue, debate, even challenge you, because she still wants resolution. But a woman who silently erases you has already decided your feelings don't matter. The silence doesn't heal. It hollows. It teaches you that peace means surrender, that calm means submission. Here's the truth she hides behind that blank stare. Silence isn't serenity. It's psychological warfare. When she chooses to go quiet, it's not because she's done fighting. It's because she's already won. Number 6, the sarcasm that cuts like a blade. It sounds like humor. It even looks like humor. But deep down, you know something's off. Every conversation starts light and ends with you feeling smaller. You put on a new shirt, feeling good about yourself. She glances up and smirks. Wow. Bold choice. You make a suggestion for dinner, and she responds, because your taste is always so refined. You laugh it off, at first, because she always has an escape route ready. Relax, I'm just kidding. That's not a joke. That's a dagger wrapped in velvet. Psychologically, sarcasm is one of the most efficient tools of covert aggression. It's how resentment hides behind charm, hostility masked as wit. It gives her a way to wound you without ever looking cruel. If you react, she blames your sensitivity. If you stay quiet, she keeps slicing. It's a no-win game, designed to make you question your own judgment. And slowly, you begin to doubt yourself. You wonder if maybe you are too sensitive. You start censoring your words, your humor, even your opinions, just to avoid being mocked again. That's how sarcasm destroys men. Not loudly, but systematically. It turns confidence into self-doubt, and communication into a minefield. A woman who respects you uses humor to connect. A woman who resents you uses humor to control. Because every sarcastic jab carries a hidden message. I no longer admire you. When affection dies, sarcasm takes its place. When empathy fades, mockery fills the silence. You see, cruelty in a soft tone is still cruelty. And when I'm joking becomes a shield, you're not in a relationship. You're in a performance, playing the role of the fool so she can feel clever. Here's the truth she hides behind her smile. Sarcasm is a coward's weapon. It kills respect without leaving fingerprints. And the day her jokes start drawing blood is the day you stop laughing and start seeing clearly. Number 7. The touch she avoids. It starts with something so small you almost ignore it. You reach for her hand and she doesn't pull away. Not exactly, but she doesn't meet your touch either. Her fingers stay limp in yours, her body slightly turned, her eyes elsewhere. You lean in for a kiss, and she gives you the cheek. You hug her goodnight, and her arms barely move. It's no longer a connection. It's choreography. You tell yourself it's stress, fatigue, a bad day. But your instincts know better. Something inside her has already detached. Psychologically, this is called withdrawn affect. When physical intimacy fades, not because of exhaustion, but because the emotional bond has fractured. Her body still exists beside you, but her nervous system is already gone, and the body always tells the truth first. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, drops when resentment grows. Cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes when presence feels unsafe. Her flinch isn't conscious, it's biological. Her body now associates you with tension, not comfort. That's why the space between you feels colder, heavier. You can sense it in the way she walks past you, how she avoids brushing against you, even in tight spaces. The silence between you has become physical. And here's the cruel part, she'll deny it. If you ask, she'll say, "You're imagining things," or "You're being clingy." She'll make you feel irrational for noticing what her body has already confessed. But the truth is, you're not imagining it. You're witnessing the final stage of emotional death, when the body begins to reject the relationship before the mind dares to admit it. A woman in love leans in. A woman in hate recoils. When her touch feels like obligation, when affection becomes routine, the relationship is already gone. She just hasn't told you yet. Her body speaks before her mouth can lie. And when her body flinches at your presence, love has already left the room. Number 8. The last priority. You notice it slowly, like a light dimming in a room you once called home. She's always busy, always somewhere else. Her phone buzzes, and she smiles, not at you, but at someone on the other end. A friend's crisis, a co-worker's drama, a family favor. She drops everything for them, but when you need her, she's suddenly exhausted. "I'm too busy. I'll call you later." And later never comes. It's not about time. It's about value. Psychologically, where a person invests their energy reveals their emotional hierarchy. Time is currency, and she's no longer spending it on you. Every "maybe tomorrow" is a quiet declaration. You are no longer essential. You start to adapt. You stop asking. You stop expecting. You tell yourself she's overwhelmed, that things will calm down. But they don't, because this isn't chaos. It's choice. She's choosing everything else over you. Once, you were her safe place. Now you're just background noise. You feel it when she cancels plans for girls' night, when she forgets your messages but replies instantly to someone else's, when you're sitting beside her and she's more connected to her screen than to your presence. This is how disrespect matures, not through conflict, but through neglect. Indifference becomes the final insult, because when a woman truly no longer cares, she doesn't scream, she doesn't fight, she disengages. And here's the truth most men don't want to face. You are not losing her time by accident. You are being demoted in her emotional ranking. Someone who truly values you will make time, not find it. When a woman is in love, she rearranges her world for you. When she secretly resents you, she lets the world rearrange you out of hers. So remember this. Where she invests her time, she invests her respect. And if you're no longer part of her schedule, you're no longer part of her story. You've seen the signs, the jokes that cut, the silence that suffocates, the touch that feels empty. 8 small fractures that don't just break the relationship, they break you. If you recognized even one of them, understand this. You're not overreacting. You're not paranoid. You're finally awake. Disrespect doesn't arrive overnight. It creeps in quietly, through laughter that belittles, through words that sting, through moments that make you question your worth. It rewires you, slowly convincing you to accept less, to expect less, to be less. But now you see it for what it is, and once you see, you can't unsee. A woman who truly loves you won't need to control you. She won't humiliate you to feel powerful or withhold affection to make a point. She builds with you, not above you, not around you, but with you. But a woman who secretly despises you will never say it directly. She'll chip away at you until you no longer recognize yourself. That's not love, that's corrosion. You can't fix contempt. You can't bargain for respect. And you can't heal in the same space that's been poisoning you. So stop begging for her attention. Stop negotiating for basic decency. Stop mistaking endurance for strength. Respect isn't something you earn by suffering. It's something you claim by walking away. When you leave, you're not running from her. You're returning to yourself. You're reclaiming the version of you that stopped apologizing for wanting peace. So, if this spoke to you, if it opened something you've been afraid to face, write it down below. Type these words. Truth decoded. Because the moment you name the truth, you break its hold on you. The truth will hurt before it heals. But it's the only medicine that sets men free.